Hello, I am Anna Marie Ciofani, the Client Service Specialist at Infinity Benefit Solutions. Today I will be talking about state continuation, the employer responsibilities, and employee rights. I will go over what state continuation is, who is eligible for state continuation, when coverage ends, and I'll also go over the notices that need to go out in the time frame and the steps for enrolling in state continuation. So what is state continuation? State continuation is state law that allows employees to continue coverage after their employment ends for up to 18 months. It is for groups with less than 20 employees. State continuation is different than COBRA, which is federal law, and for groups with more than 20 employees. Level funded groups are not eligible for state continuation, and medical is the only coverage that's eligible for state continuation. So ancillary coverage, such as dental, vision, etc., is not eligible. It is the same coverage and same plan from when the employee was an active employee, and there is no difference. Everything is covered the same. There's no lapse in coverage, so state continuation will begin the day after the group coverage ends. Former employees pay 100% of the monthly premiums directly to their former employer. If an employee elects state continuation, they will remain on the monthly invoice until state continuation terminates. So each month, the former employee will pay the premium. They'll still be on your invoice, and then you pay the invoice as is. Who's eligible for state continuation? Employees who were covered under their employer's plan for at least 3 months are eligible. If they were covered for less than 3 months, they are not eligible. Former spouse or dependents whose coverage ended due to divorce, separation, or annulment, or due to the employee's death are eligible for state continuation. Employees who are no longer eligible for coverage as an active employee due to termination, either voluntary or involuntary, are eligible for state continuation. It is important to note that any employee whose employment terminates due to misconduct is not eligible for state continuation. Dependents who age off the plan, so who turn 26, are not eligible for state continuation. Employees who reside outside the state of Wisconsin while employed with an employer located in Wisconsin are eligible for state continuation. If an employee resides in the state of Wisconsin while employed and then moves outside the state of Wisconsin after employment, they are not eligible for state continuation. And all this information that I just went over is on the first page of the fact sheet, which I'll go over later in the presentation. When does continuation coverage end? There are a few different ways state continuation coverage can end. First is if you've reached 18 months. Second, if you establish residence outside the state of Wisconsin. So again, if you live in Wisconsin when state continuation started, then moved outside of the state, coverage will end. Also, if you become eligible for other coverage, so if you obtain new employment, you can stay on state continuation if the new employer's plan is not similar to your former employer's plan. So coverage is not similar if you are subject to any pre-existing condition waiting periods, or if the new employer's coverage provides substantially different benefits or is more costly. If you are a former spouse of an employee and are on state continuation due to divorce or separation, and your former spouse loses eligibility for coverage as an active employee under their employer, your coverage will end. Notices and timeframes. Employers must send former employees written notice of their continuation rights within 5 days of their loss of coverage. This notice should include the required premium amount and the dates the premiums are due. Again, they are responsible for 100% of the monthly premiums and will remain on your monthly invoice if they elect state continuation. You will need to include a blank enrollment form in the packet that you send them. The former employee has 30 days from the date they are given written notice to make their decision and send in the first month's premium. There is no grace period for late payment. If they miss a premium payment, they don't send it in by the specified date, you can terminate them from the plan due to late payment. So enrolling in state continuation, employees must be terminated from the plan as an active employee before they can be reinstated in state continuation coverage. Whether or not the employee elects state continuation, they still need to be terminated from the plan as an active employee. This should be done like any other termination. The completed termination form is required, and it needs to be submitted within 30 days of the termination effective date. Do not wait until the employee decides whether or not to take state continuation, as this may result in late termination and can cause issues. Former employees must complete the enrollment form to enroll in state continuation. You need to include this in your packet with the notification letter and the Wisconsin fact sheet. The enrollment form is the same form you use for any new employees. On the form, the employee needs to check state continuation. It needs to be clear on the form that that is what they are electing. Do not use one form for the termination and the enrollment. You need to use two separate forms. If you have any questions on what forms to use, you can go ahead and reach out and we can assist you with that. This is an example of a letter you need to provide to the employee within 5 days of their loss of coverage. You will notice in red, it talks about converting life coverage. If you offer life and AD&D, you will need to provide the employee with the conversion information. If you don't offer life and AD&D, you'll just take that out of the letter. And the letter is fillable, so you'll go ahead and fill in the necessary information. This is the fact sheet that you will include with the letter you send to the employee. I also recommend keeping a copy for yourself as a resource, because again, everything that I went over today is included in this, can be found in the fact sheet. You can reach out to us and we'll send you a copy of the fact sheet. Here's the contact information for client services. You can contact client services with any state continuation questions. So this concludes today's webinar. I hope you found it helpful. Thank you.